Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're unpacking an incredibly concise yet deeply grounding philosophical framework. You know, in our fast-paced world, it's just so easy to blur the lines between our own personal agency and, well, the forces of destiny. But the ideas we're exploring today draw a hard, clarifying line right in the sand regarding the dichotomy of control. By the end of our time together, you are going to have a rock-solid mental framework for navigating your own destiny and purpose. Let's get into it.
So if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by trying to micromanage every single detail of your life, or if you're constantly exhausting yourself trying to hustle your way to the top of every single mountain, we need to hit the pause button. Think about this. Can life's most important experiences actually be forced? It's a pretty provocative question, right? We live in an era where we're constantly taught that pushing harder, grinding 24/7, and obsessing over the tiny details will somehow bend the universe to our will. But we really need to take a step back and evaluate whether the things that deeply truly matter can actually be scheduled or just demanded into existence.
That brings us right to Section 1, Chasing the Uncontrollable. Here is a tough but incredibly liberating truth. Some of life's most important experiences simply cannot be forced, period. Think about the sheer anxiety that comes from trying to force major life milestones. We try to force career breakthroughs way before we're actually ready. We try to force relationships to neatly fit into our own preferred timelines. And honestly, that stress and burnout we all feel, it so often comes from ignoring this fundamental reality. We treat life like a giant vending machine, assuming that if we just put in enough effort, it guarantees an output precisely when we want it. But the biggest, most important experiences simply do not respond to force. The text puts it beautifully. Love and death come in their own time. Think about that. These are the two most massive, universal constants of the human condition. Love, the ultimate beginning of connection, and death, the ultimate end. Neither of them respects our personal calendars. You cannot force someone to love you, and you certainly can't force love to arrive on a Tuesday at 4 p.m. Conversely, death arrives on its own timeline, entirely indifferent to our 5-year plans. These absolute pillars of our existence operate completely outside of our jurisdiction.
And this brilliantly illustrates our core daily conflict. We're constantly caught in this tug-of-war between what destiny brings, the uncontrollable timing of love, death, and those unpredictable twists of fate, and what we should actually be chasing. All our anxiety, it lives over on the side of chasing destiny. True empowerment, though, lives entirely in chasing what we can control, like wisdom and purpose. The goal here is to stop crossing the boundary line between the two.
Which leads us to Section 2, Focusing on the Controllables.
Instead of chasing what's completely beyond your control, we need a total reset of our daily mindset. Rather than spinning our wheels and wasting precious energy on what we can't dictate, we've got to withdraw our energy from that external world of destiny. Redirect it entirely toward nurturing your own internal landscape. Because think about it. If you stop chasing the wind, what do you do with all that leftover energy? Well, that internal focus breaks down into 3 super practical steps. Step 1, live with purpose. Intentionally choose your direction rather than just drifting along. Step 2, grow as a person. Commit to that constant, incremental evolution of your character. And step 3, make the most of the present. Be here right now. Notice how every single one of these is completely independent of external validation or some cosmic timing. You do not need destiny's permission to live with purpose today.
But here's absolutely crucial context. This philosophy isn't telling us to just sit back, relax, and do nothing. It's not about giving up at all. If we're going to exert effort and if we're going to be ambitious, which we should be, we must redirect that fiery ambition strictly toward what we should chase: wisdom, purpose, and self-improvement. You can absolutely control how much you read, how deeply you reflect, and how hard you work on your own flaws. That is a chase genuinely worth your time, because it's a chase you can actually win.
Now let's bring it all together in Section 3, Letting Life Unfold.
When you shift your focus to wisdom and self-improvement, you are left with this incredibly comforting promise: the rest will arrive at the right time. Just imagine the weight that takes off your shoulders. By anchoring ourselves in the present and dedicating our energy to internal growth, we can trust that destiny is going to handle its own business. The career, the love, the big milestones, they'll be delivered precisely when they're supposed to. You literally don't have to force them. You just have to be ready for them when they get here.
The text distills this perfectly. Focus on what you can control, let life unfold what you cannot. This remarkably simple sentence is the overarching mantra for this entire philosophy. It perfectly balances human agency with acceptance.
Focus implies intense, directed action toward your own growth, right? While let life unfold implies this gentle, trusting surrender to the mysteries of the universe. It basically gives us permission to work incredibly hard on ourselves while simultaneously giving us permission to stop worrying about the universe's timeline.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative question. What will you let unfold today? Take a really hard look at your life right now. What are you gripping just a little too tightly? What timeline are you trying to force that is causing you nothing but stress? Identify what you actually need to take control of, your wisdom, your purpose, your growth, and then, gracefully and confidently, surrender the rest. Just let it unfold. Thanks so much for joining me and keep focusing on your own growth.